Welcome to No Game Sports. My name is Dominic DeVincenzo,
I'm Brendan Jin.
I'm Ricky Rodriguez.
and today we have starting right side from Colorado, Sterling Parker.
Hi.
Okay, so get things started, we wanted to ask you if you could choose like a superpower, what would it be and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I don't know if it counts as like your normal superpower. I think I would want to know every language because I want to be able to talk to everyone and understand everyone.
Okay, multicultural vibe. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Do you like to travel a lot? Is that something like that you like to do?
I
like
mean,
see different places?
I like to think about traveling a lot. I don't have the money to travel, but I went to China my freshman year, actually with CU and my volleyball team. So that was a fun
wow.
experience. That was my first time out of the continental US, which was awesome.
There you go.
Okay, so going into you though, where did you grow up and what high school did you go to?
So I grew up in Martinez, California, which is part of the Bay Area, and I went to Alhambra High School.
Okay.
What was your time like there?
It was interesting. I think especially with volleyball, I started kind of at an older age. So my first real year of volleyball where I had a position was my freshman year of high school. And so kind of navigating that, and I was on varsity as a freshman, which was weird being the only freshman. And then eventually everyone in my grade who played volleyball stopped. So by my senior year, I was the only senior that played volleyball in the whole school. So it was definitely an experience, but I don't think I would change it at all.
And it has you listed at 6'2". When did you hit that growth spurt, or how did that line up for you?
Let's see. I think my freshman year I was probably around 5'9". I kept growing all through high school, and then from my senior year to my freshman year of college, I grew another inch. So I was about 6'1" senior year, and then I grew another inch over that summer. So my coaches were thrilled, I'm sure.
Outside of volleyball, like what kind of other hobbies do you have or extracurriculars?
Right now we're in season, so I'm not doing too much, but living in Boulder, it's a very outdoorsy community. So I go on a lot of hikes, do a lot of bike rides, which is fun. I'm very outdoorsy, especially living here. Outside of that, big music girl, love going to concerts, love listening to music, singing, dancing, writing, all the creative stuff.
What type of
What kind
concerts
of-
have you gone to?
Oh, all kinds. I'm a big fan of R&B. So I've been to a lot of R&B concerts, a lot of rap, hip hop. But obviously with COVID, it was a long time. But I actually saw the Migos over the weekend, which was an experience.
Wow,
that was my first concert back, which was a lot.
that's one way to kick it off.
Yeah.
Sure. Well then, do you have any growing up? You said in Martinez, the Bay Area. Did you grow up with did you have some siblings, or were your parents athletes as well? Like a follow-up question to that as well.
Yeah, so I have two younger sisters. One is currently a senior in high school and one is a junior in high school. So I'm the oldest. And I think being the oldest, definitely my dad was a college athlete. He played football at St. Mary's, which is a private school in California that now doesn't have a football team, but he was there when they were really big on football. So he always made sure I was doing some type of sport. I did softball, dance. What else did I do? Soccer when I was really, really little. Never did basketball because I hated it. And then I stopped softball in middle school and they were like, you have to do something. And I was like, okay, I'll try volleyball. And I ended up loving it. So it all worked out. It was great.
Definitely. how would you say that you paved the way for your younger siblings, or are paving the way?
Oh, I would like to say I'm paving the way. They would disagree. I think there's a lot of comparison, especially coming from a smaller town and a small high school where like everyone knows each other. And I was kind of one of the only D1 athletes to come out of to come out of my grade in high school. So they get compared to me a lot, which I think is tough, but also they both decided they didn't want to touch a volleyball, which I think was probably for the best, just as far as comparison goes. So one does basketball and one does track, but they're not as serious as I am about volleyball and as serious as I was about sports at their age. So I don't think they're going to do it seriously in college, which is fine. But I think they definitely, the comparison was a huge deal. And I think they hate that and hate admitting that.
That's fair.
Okay, and back to more about you. So in Colorado right now, what are you studying for your major?
Yeah. So right now I'm a psychology major and I'm minoring in sports media and minoring in sociology.
Okay, very nice. So like, what's your ideal situation after college? Is it volleyball still, or are you looking to psychology type of jobs?
Yeah, we'll kind of see where the wind blows. But right now, as far as my interests go, I'm really interested in sports psych. I think that would be really perfect for me, or even broadcasting is something I've been really into. We do a show at the school that I've been doing now for 3 years. That's kind of broadcasting stuff. And then I actually announced on the Pac-12 network 2 weekends ago. So that was like a really cool experience for me, just to like peek into that world a little bit. So it was fun.
Yeah,
It was
that's
fun.
awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. And then so why did you choose Colorado? Did you have other offers for volleyball? Did they have like the majors that you wanted, or did you just like the coaches, or why Colorado?
Yeah. So I think for me, I did have other offers from a couple Pac-12 schools, and then a bunch of schools on the East Coast and a bunch of schools in California. I think what really drew me to Colorado was just the people, especially the girls on the team were just so welcoming on my official visit. I just remember feeling like I was already part of the team before I had even committed there. So just that community aspect. And then I mean, I walked on campus and I immediately fell in love. It's so beautiful here. Perfect view of the mountains. All 4 seasons, which was a big change for me coming from California. But snow, not really my thing. But I like having 4 seasons.
Okay, that's awesome. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that adjustment from California to Colorado must have been definitely
Yeah, it was
something.
tough. It was tough. My first snow was rough.
um, I guess with regards to just your life as a whole, as you've grown up, who's been your biggest inspiration or your hero?
Oh, I would say, like, from a local standpoint, probably my dad, just because he basically made me as competitive as I am, for better and for worse. And he'll admit that all the time. I definitely get my competitive spirit and just I love to compete. He made me love working out, love being in the gym. So that athlete mentality, I think I definitely got from him, and I definitely look up to him and all that he does in sports. Outside of that, I think honestly, like any badass athlete who's a woman, like Serena Williams, Naomi Osaka right now is like my idol. So just yeah, those badass women who, especially for younger girls, are like the perfect role model to look up to.
How do you try and incorporate that within yourself? Like, how do you take the visions of Naomi and like see that within you?
Yeah, I feel like both Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams have been huge advocates for whatever it is that they believe in. I think we saw that with Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles just speaking up about mental health. I think that's a huge issue and something that I'm really passionate about. So I think through them, I've kind of gained more confidence in like wanting to talk about these issues, being parts of groups that get these issues talked about, especially in athletics. I think there's such a stigma around it. So just being more involved within the community, especially the athletic community, has been something that's been really important to me recently.
Yeah, that's great to hear, especially that, you see the inspiration in others and then passing it down to the next generation. That's really cool.
Okay, and then now transitioning into more about volleyball. We noticed in your second collegiate game ever, you had a double-digit kills in 4 blocks. So how are you able to make the jump from high school to college just so seamless?
Wow, thank you. I I definitely think it goes back to kind of how I grew up and just that drive, having that drive. And my dad really taught me, like, if you want to be good, like, you need to be all in. So I kind of always had that in the back of my head. And my dad had always told me, like, don't ever think that you're better than anyone, because you're coming in as a freshman. You might not touch the court your freshman year. You don't know, but you need to prove to them that you can work hard regardless of the outcome on game day. And so I kind of kept that in the back of my head of, like, I don't expect to start. And then my coach brought me into a meeting and was like, listen, I'm going to start you this weekend. This is going to be a test for you. And I just want you to go out there and take a deep breath and just do it. And I was like, okay. And then I started in every game after that. So I think just having that mentality of, I'm not better than anyone, and there's always someone that's better than me, but just having that continual effort and that drive and that work ethic makes all the difference, I think.
Or having the idea that you're not better than anybody, is that supposed to keep you humble in the sense that you always are striving to be better, like with each and every practice game?
Right. Yeah. I think the whole goal of that kind of self-talk has been, like, you're never your best. You're never at your best. So there's always a new goal you can try and reach, whether it be like stats wise or in the weight room. There's always something new and something better that I can be doing. So just always having that in the back of my head of, like, this is not the best it's going to be. You're going to get better. And, like, you have to know that. I think that's been really important for me.
For sure.
Definitely.
Kind of then, so that was your freshman year. Going
Yeah.
into your sophomore season, you had a game against number 12 in the nation, I believe, UCLA. You had like 15 kills, a 464 hitting percentage. I mean, this is against the number 12 ranked team. Was that your best game, you'd say, in your career? And if not, then which one would you say you outdid it with?
Yeah, I would definitely say that game against UCLA was definitely the highlight of my volleyball career so far. Just because I felt confident in everything I did. I felt really supported by my teammates. And I think as a team, we just meshed so well in that game and really showed that we can be really, really good. So I think that was just great for our confidence overall and great for my confidence individually of, like, yeah, like, this is a ranked team. Like, this is a team that makes it to the tournament every year and does well in the tournament. And, like, we're hanging with them. So I think that was definitely great for my confidence. But I do think that that's probably the best game I've played so far.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that's the best game that you played, because I mean, you were named Pac-12 All Freshman to the Pac-12 All Freshman team, as well as Pac-12 honorable mention twice. After sustaining your injury, how do you kind of pick up where you left off?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I tore my labrum my senior year of high school, and then was able to fight through it my freshman year with no problems. And then I think with COVID season and everything picking up so fast, last season kind of took a toll on my body. And then going into this season, going through practice, doing everything I could to avoid surgery. And I met with the surgeon, and he was like, we've done everything we can. At least you can say that you tried everything. But this is the best option for you right now. Like, if you want to be like the volleyball player that you know you can be, like, this is what you have to do. So I think that understanding of, like, I'm taking this step in order to be the player I know I can be has been kind of what's kept me grounded. And obviously it's really hard to be on the sideline when I've been on the court for so long, and especially watching someone else play my position was tough at first. I think now I've kind of settled into, like, that sideline coach, supportive teammate role, and I'm just doing everything I can to just kind of be there and be as helpful as I can. And my coach has made it really apparent. He's like, I need you to be present and I need you to like be a coach. So that's kind of what I've done all season. I'm like our extended coach on the staff. So, but it's been a really good experience for me. I think as far as like my volleyball IQ has gone up insanely. So I think it's had its ups and downs, but I think overall it's going to be a really good way for me to be a lot mentally stronger.
For sure. And that's going to change. I mean, your whole perspective of volleyball, yeah, like you said, has changed. And that's
Right.
going to be super helpful when you get back to the court. And I mean, I guess with what you're saying is that you tore your labrum in your shoulder your senior year or so, and then you never did anything to repair it in between that
Yeah.
time until
Yeah.
now. And so, I mean, that's crazy to say that, I guess we've never seen you at full strength and you've been able to do all of this. So,
Right. Which is what I keep telling myself. And I think when I was deciding whether or not to get surgery, that was a big thing that like everyone around me had said was like, look at how good you did, like with it being torn. Think about how
yeah,
good you could be when you're at full strength, when you're at full go. So
yeah,
that's also been very, very encouraging.
that's big
So
time. That's really cool.
how has your recovery process been though? Are you feeling better? When do you think you'll be able to get back onto the court and really participate again?
Yeah. So the average repair time for my surgery, I was in a sling for 6 weeks. And then after that, it's about 4 to 6 months of rehab. So I'm only 8 weeks post-op right now. So I still have a long way to go. My goal is to be able to play in our spring season, which happens around April, end of March, early April. So my goal right now is to be able to practice and play in those games just to get back into it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely some days are better than others. Um, I mean, surgery is tough regardless of if you play a sport or not. So props to people who do it because it's not easy. So yeah, but I think I'm doing good right now. And I think I've really kind of settled into the role that I have on the team right now.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And big props to dad too, I get for
Right.
instilling that determination too, because that's a big
Right.
part of coming back from that injury. So
Right.
I guess forward looking, the Buffaloes haven't put together a winning season in the last 2 years. So what can you guys do to get back on track and make your presence felt in the Pac-12?
Yeah, I think we've had a couple ups and downs this season. I mean, we started off really strong, 9-0 in preseason. I think we lost two of our starters, which was tough, especially leading up to some of our bigger matches in the first half of the pack. So I think that kind of rocked us a little, and we had to have two freshmen fill those spots, people who had never played against some of the best players in the country, which is overwhelming. So I think we still are working on settling them into that role and working more cohesively as a team with those new people on the court. But I think we're doing a good job, and I'm really optimistic for the second half of the pack. I really think if we stay focused and stick to our game plans, which we've been doing a really good job of from what I've seen, I think we have a good chance of making it to the tournament this season.
Interesting. Okay. And just out of curiosity, you were number 13, correct?
Yes.
And is there any correlation to dad or
Yeah,
just
so it was actually so I started volleyball in 8th grade. Yeah, 8th grade is when I was kind of forced to play. And that's back when like they just give you the size. You say your size and they just hand you a jersey. I got the number 13 and it just kind of stuck with me of like, okay, this is your first volleyball number. So like this is gonna be your volleyball number. And so it kind of stuck with me. I was 13 all through high school, 13 in club. And then I got to college and I was like, yep, lucky number 13, that's me. So yeah.
there you go. It's your trademark.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. All right. Well, this has been No Gain Sports. Thank you, Sterling, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you again.
Of course.
Thank you. We appreciate it.